Hello, this is Cindy and welcome to my channel. In about a month's time, I am going to have my knee replaced, and they're going to do a partial knee replacement. And I know that I'm going to be up and about a little bit. It's outpatient surgery anymore. It's pretty quick and easy, but I'm going to be stuck pretty much in my chair for a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks, which means it's going to be very hard for me to sit at my craft table with my knee all stapled and whatnot. But I have to have something to do while I'm sitting there. I will be heavily sedated, I'm hoping, lots of drugs. And so what I've decided I'm doing is creating some projects that I can easily do while sitting there and don't have to actually think much about it. So this particular project is pretty easy. I do have a video on it. I'll link it down below as to how to make these. But this is the basic framework. You start with a 6x6. I have the same kind here. And all I have to do is cut out those corners. And I figured that's something that I can do while I am sitting there. So I thought today, while I was talking to you, I will sit here. That's 6. I want to come down to 4.5, and I'm just going to score all of my sides. I'm scoring 1.5 inches in on every side, every which way but loose. Okay, now I'm dating myself. Clint Eastwood and a monkey, chimpanzee, I think. Okay, so now I have scored this. And I'll decide later which way I want it to go. But what I did earlier today was simply cut myself a bunch of these 6x6s, and so that I can sit here and score them all, so that I'm going to put them in a pile, and then I will be ready to go and have these mass-produced. So in fact, let's call that what this is. This is mass-producing pinwheels in this case. I have already done some mass-producing of some other papers. I will show you in a minute. This scoreboard, this is I've loved this thing. This has been my trusty cutter for decades. Literally decades. I've gone through a couple of different blades, new blades on them. It's still the original pink score piece though. And but it's got this lip now that's coming up. I'm going to have to see if I can't glue that down, but I'm not going to try and glue it now. But I'll decide later how I want them to be. Whether I want, as in this case, the purple is, I've got to put them together here. Just folding it back up. I have the purple on the flaps. I could also, with the purple inside, so when you open it up, there's purple inside. But I could also just as easily put it so that it's white inside, and then the flaps are white. Oh, now I don't have that laying down flat. There we go. This poor thing, I keep using it as my template to make sure I know what I'm doing. So I can, when I put it into a journal, I can just paste it in and then go from there. Did I do that side? I did that side. See, I get talking and I forget what I'm doing. It is hot here in the Finger Lakes today. We have a heat advisory for pretty much the entire state of New York, or at least this whole section of it. And it's not going to be, in fact, I'm only going to do a little bit here, and then I'm going to go sit in the air conditioning. We do not have, this whole house is not air conditioned. It's an old Queen Anne Victorian. I see it trips on that. And it is not air conditioned at all, although it does do a really good job, at least in the downstairs, of keeping it fairly cool in the summer months. This is a great way to use up some of your 6x6s. If you have a bunch of 6x6 papers you don't quite know what to do with, and maybe you don't necessarily like them, or they don't fit with what you're doing. What's kind of nice is if you make a pinwheel out of it, you only see a little bit of the pattern. I will show you something else that I have been working on. I got this idea from, actually I got the idea from Carrie the Crafter, who got the idea from Gail Augustinelli, who got the idea from somebody else. And I will link both Carrie's and Gail's videos down below, and I'll try to find the other person and do that as well. So these are 12 by 12. These are, again, 12 by 12s that I don't particularly like. They're nice and retro, but I'm not really ever going to use them. So what I've done is I've simply took 5 sheets, folded them in half, and then stapled up the middle. So there's 3 staples in the middle holding it together. Carrie did one that was only 10 inches high, and he sewed his binding with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And Gail also did one that was this size, but she sewed up the middle. I don't have a sewing machine, so I used my long-handled stapler and I stapled it. It doesn't really matter how you fasten it. It's going to be, you just fasten it just kind of for whatever purposes. And then this is for your clusters. You can put your clusters up here, and I'm going to, most of mine don't have fussy cuts. Or sorry, focus points, not fussy cuts. But so I'm going to organize these by those that have a focal point and those that don't. And some of them I prefer not to put a focal point on, because that way I can adjust them and use them in whatever I want. This one's just, I can stick one more down at the bottom so I could fit 5 on that page. And this is another project for when I'm laid up. I figured I could make all of these clusters, because when I make clusters, you did not want to see this table yesterday. Oh my glory, I had stuff everywhere. It was a mess. But what's nice is once the clusters are made and I have an entire box of them here, I'm going to divide them up with those that have some sort of focal point and those that don't have any focal point. And I'm going to paste them in here, and then I have options. I can choose to cut it out, you know, especially if I stick it on the edge. I can cut it out, and then now it has even another layer on it. Am I in focus? Yeah. So it would have another layer on it, or I can just pull it out and put another one in there. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We'll see as we go along. But I know that when I go ahead and put these in, I'm just going to put a little tack of glue. I'm not going to glue them down hard. So it'll just have a little tack there that will hold it in place. If I decide that I want to cut it out and use the whole thing, I can do that, and then I can glue it down a little bit more specifically. Or I can just pull the whole thing out and use it just like that in a journal. So that's one of my projects. I got that project set. Another project I have are these pieces. Not so much those. These are some napkins that I did. These that I have started to color. And I figure this is easy. This is with watercolor pencils and then just water over the top of it. So I can do this sitting at my table without any problem. Or I can do some of these I did, I don't remember where they are now. A couple of them I just did with plain colored pencils. So I can color them with colored pencils too. So that's going to be a project. So that's 2 projects that I have set aside for myself. I'll put those up there so I don't lose them. And then these will be a 3rd project that I will have. I'm ambitious. I'm thinking I'm going to have all sorts of boredom. I'm going to be able to do lots. I did go through, I kept pretty good notes when I had this done the last time. I've already had a knee replacement on my left knee, and I'm going to tell you, if you're on the fence and debating whether you should have your knee done or not, you're going to be so glad you did. It's one of those surgeries that after you get done, it really hurts a lot. I'm going to be honest, hurts like a son of a gun for the first week. You're going to want those pain meds. And then by the end of 6 months, you're going to go, pain? What pain? Did I have pain? I don't remember any pain. Kind of like having childbirth, you know? You forget after a while what that pain was. Otherwise, the entire world, every woman would have one child and no more, because she'd say, forget it, never doing that again. But we forget. Plus, at the end of childbirth, you get this really cool kid. You get a baby. At the end of this, I'm going to have the ability to walk. And I think that's a pretty good thing too. But I'll be honest with you, this is nothing like the pain of childbirth. This is going to hurt, but it's not like that. So for those of you who are male and thinking about this and don't have childbirth to go along with it, it's nothing. You're going to really love having a new knee. You're going to be able to walk again. You're going to be able to go places and do things that right now you either can't do or you are slowing you up. I'm not quite to the point where I need a walker, although there are times I'm getting a cane out right now because it hurts. Okay, so there's another set of projects. I will cut all of these to, how many do I have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 of these ready to go to be made into the pinwheel. Again, all I got to do is cut out my corners, and then I can fold them, and then I have all these pinwheels that I can use in my journals. A great way to mass make and use up 6x6s and keep myself occupied while I'm having surgery. Okay, that's it for today. Just a short little video. I just thought I'd stop in and chat with you for a bit. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and click on the bell if you want notifications about any future videos. Make sure you leave me a comment down below. Talk to me. Let me know if you've got any other ideas for easy projects that I can do while just sitting there. Somebody did mention on a thread that I was in about doing all of your distressing. So this is actually another project that I've started. I have all of these journal cards, and I'm going to be able to sit there and just do this. So that's another piece that I've got ready to go. So I have 4 projects set at the moment. I am looking for more because I figured each one of these projects isn't really going to take all that long. These are short projects. So if you've got any ideas of things that I can do while I'm laid up, let me know in the comments. Okay, have a great afternoon. This is Cindy signing off.